Hi guys, so today I'll be showing you guys how I made my first pair of jeans. I did make everything from scratch, including the patterns themselves, which you can see in my last video. But in this video I'll be showing you guys how I go about sewing it step by step. And the purpose of making this jeans wasn't necessarily to make the coolest jeans or the best fitting jeans, but just to try to achieve a very clean look with all the edges finished. The fabric that I got, or that I'm using in this video, is denim that I got from Victor's Textile LLC. It's in the fashion district in LA. They got very cheap fabric. Even this denim was very affordable. I think for about 10 yards it was $15, but I wouldn't really recommend using this denim as your final piece. I think it's good as a starting point to just kind of get your sample and to try to see and test your fit, and that's exactly what I'm doing in this video, is just making a sample pair. But without further ado, here's me making my first pair of jeans. Here's a few tips when it comes to cutting. I like to cut from the left side of the pattern and around, because that way I can get the fabric waste out of the way as I cut. I'm also holding down the paper very closely to my scissors for more accuracy. You also don't want to snip your scissors all the way closed, because that's what leaves jagged edges on your patterns. Now when it comes to sewing, we're going to be first starting off with the fly guard. Put your fabrics right side together and sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Afterwards, we're going to flip this inside out and we're going to poke the corner with something not so sharp like a chopstick or a screwdriver. This is to help make the corner crisp. Now we overlock the edges for the fly guard as well as the fly placket. This is how it should look like when you're done. Now we're going to be sewing some buttonholes. We're going to be using the buttonhole press to make 4 buttonholes. What we're going to do is divide the total length of the placket by 5 and evenly distribute the 4 buttonholes. They should also be a 1/4 inch away from the edge. Carefully cut open your holes with the seam ripper. For the coin pocket, we're going to be folding over the top twice at 3/8 seam allowance and double top stitch. Then you're going to sew your coin pocket onto your front pocket backing by folding all your edges once at 3/8 seam allowance and double top stitching all the way around. Then you're going to sew your pocket backing onto your pocket lining by folding all your edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance and edge stitching all the way around. This will leave you with a very clean finish like so. Then put your pocket lining in your front pant leg with the right sides facing each other and sew the pocket hole at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Press over with the 1/16 inch of the lining behind the pocket hole. This is to ensure that you don't see the pocket lining peeking out from the front. We're also going to edge stitch all the way around here and follow it up with the second top stitch. You can mark the curve of the second top stitch with some chalk to help serve as a guideline for sewing. Then you're going to sew your pocket bags with the wrong sides facing each other, and you're going to sew at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. From here, we're going to flip the bags inside out, and we're going to be sewing that at a 1/4 inch seam allowance all the way around. This should leave you with a very clean finish looking like this. Stay stitch your pockets onto the front pant legs at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is to make sure your pocket backing and your lining stays in place. To attach the fly placket, first mark with the chalk an inch above where the fly placket ends. Fold over the part that sticks out twice at 3/8 seam allowance and edge stitch the left front leg. Get your fly placket and do a J stitch around it at a 3/8 seam allowance. Follow it up with a second top stitch afterwards. Now we're going to prepare to attach the fly guard. What you're going to do is you're going to get your fly guard and mark it with the chalk on the same level you marked your left pant leg with. Transfer that marking onto the right pant leg by lining them up at the waist and snip that at a 3/8 of an inch. Now you're going to overlock the top half of the right pant leg and end right where you snipped. Sew the fly guard with the right pant leg at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. After that, you're going to edge stitch all the way down to the bottom of the crotch. When you get to the notch, you're going to fold it over 3/8 of an inch and keep going down. Now mark a 1/16 inch away from the folded edges with the chalk. We're going to be using this as a guideline to help sew a faux flat felt seam. Fold the edge of your crotch on your other pant leg and stack it right on top. Sew with the fabric barely covering the chalk mark you just made. At the 1 inch mark above the placket you made earlier, pivot down 4 or 5 stitches and then pivot down again to make a complete double top stitch. This is how the front pant should look after everything comes together. Now time for the back pockets. We're going to be folding over the top twice at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance and double top stitching it across. Next, pin it against your back pant leg and double top stitch all the way around with the edges folded once at 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Here I have a chalk and I'm marking in 3/8 of an inch for the yoke to help as a guideline for when I sew. You want this 3/8 of the yoke sticking out and put your pant leg against it face to face. You're going to be sewing this at 3/4 of an inch seam allowance. After you sew, we're going to be pressing this down with an iron. Fold and tuck this excess fabric underneath and then press it down. Right here I'm pressing and folding as I go. After you press everything down, you're going to edge stitch all the way across the yoke and follow it up with a second top stitch. Now you got yourself a flat felt seam right on the yoke. Next, we're going to join the two back pants together by sewing at 3/4 of an inch. The right leg should have 3/8 of an inch sticking out just like the yoke did. After you sew, it should look something like this, and then we're going to be pressing and folding that excess fabric underneath just like we did earlier. We're doing the same exact thing to create the flat felt seam here as we did on the yoke. After you iron and press, just edge stitch here, and then you're going to be following up with the second top stitch. After you join the two back legs together, we're going to sew the inseams on the front and the back by using the same flat felt technique as earlier. Make sure you sew very slowly right by the crotch area where everything is intersecting. Use your hand wheel if necessary. After you complete the inseams, we're going to be overlocking the outseams. If you're using selfish jeans, however, you don't need to overlock this part. Join the front and back outseams by sewing at 1/2 inch. Then we're going to bust open this seam all the way with an iron. Now it's time for the waistband. We're going to press the bottom by 1/2 inch. Pin with about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of the waistband picking out the end, and sew face to face at 1/2 inch. Press down the waistband after you sew it. Now we're gonna do a basting stitch across the whole waistband. First, you're gonna tuck in that excess fabric that was sticking out from the waistband by 1/2 inch. Baste that in place and start hand stitching all the way across. Make sure you take your time here. After you do your basting stitches, your waistband should stay in place like this. Now we're going to top stitch the edges of the waistband using the sewing machine. This is how it should look after you're done. You can take out the basting stitches now. Lastly, we're going to work on the hem. We're going to fold twice at 1/2 inch and press it down with an iron. Then we're going to start stitching right where the outseam is. Keep sewing all the way across until you end up back where you started. Alright, so that pretty much concludes the video. I know I didn't go over sewing the buttons on as well as the belt loops, but I think you guys can figure it out on your own. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would do it myself, but to be honest, I didn't really intend to finish this piece anyway. I mean, I think it came out looking cool, but I just wanted to make this as more so of a sample and to test out my fit as well as my patterns. And I think the next time I make pants, I'm definitely going to do some things different, especially the patterns, because what I did to make these jeans, I cloned the patterns using a different pair of jeans I had as a reference, but I think it just has its own limitations because you're not gonna entirely know where the dart placement goes, how the yoke is shaped, and I don't know, it's just a mess when it comes to the curve and the shaping of certain things, So I think the next time I make pants, I'm definitely gonna just be making an entirely new pant block and just using my own measurements. And I'm doing exactly that right now. Actually, I'm working on a different project and I'm working on some flared jeans, so let me know if you guys want to see that happen. But this is the video. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys learned something. Go ahead and make some pair of jeans. Go make it for yourself, go make it for your friends and family. I don't know, do something, man. Be creative, have fun with it. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time in my other video. Peace.